सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय, Mahayogi Swami Umanand Saraswati ki jai. Friends, we have just faced a dilemma in chapter 1, whether to do or not to do. 99% of us know what we should not do. But even dilemma is a nice way of trying not to be responsible for a lot of things. We just don't want to worry about what is not to be done. Though we know it is not right to do, well, we will say, well, everybody does, so why not we? So we want to overcome that dilemma, but by wrong choice. However, there is something which is very trickily made about us. There is something called consciousness, which does not let you escape towards a wrong door very easily. It will keep on telling you, mind you, you are wrong, so wait, you are wrong, so you are right and you are wrong. So dilemma is just just a voluntary state. It's not something very difficult, because deep down in all of us, we know what is right from wrong. Even child knows what is right from wrong. But we love to be under the garb of dilemma. Anyway, now when we have a dilemma, which is actually not existing, but we want it because we would like to, we are tempted to do wrong, and so we want to pretend to be under a dilemma. So now, of course, in the case of Arjun, the dilemma had crossed a state where his physical fitness also got challenged. He became weak, he became compassionate, he had tears. So if you allow that emotional power to rule you, then obviously you will have to go a little beyond a dilemma, and that is when you are facing the results of a wrong choice. Why do I say wrong choice? If you are having tears and if your legs are trembling, obviously what you are thinking is not right, because it hasn't given you right results. It's very obvious. If you would have emerged as something more strong, more powerful, more confident, more disarming, and then we can see your thinking is right. But here the results are physically making you weak, emotional, and you're crying. So obviously you have made a wrong choice. But all said and done, then you tend to turn to someone like Sri Krishna, or maybe some good friend or some good godfather, and you ask for advice. Now how does the advice come in? Obviously the advisor has to be wise himself. Advisor, it has to be wiser, who has to tell you. Now in this case, two very beautiful messages are given in chapter 2. One, he says, look here Arjun, you are made of name and form. That's the matter element in you. Krishna says, look here Arjun, you are made of name and form. Of course, the third element also exists, which is called spirit and matter is further divided into name and form. So this form is going to perish. So whether you fight or you don't fight, someday soon you are going to die, or any one of us, of course. But name can last. So name can last. As long as the spirit is there, the name will last. That is how you should look at it. As long as the spirit remains, the name should last. Now, how many of us will, in the world, total world, how many of us are there who will say we would like to be like Hitler? Or say, let's say, how many of us would like to say, I'd like to be like a Ravan or like Kans? No, we don't want to say that. We'd rather say, I'd rather be like Krishna or Rama, or let's say some godly divine figure, or say Mahatma Gandhi. So there may be people who would like to be something like a name which is reputed. So the chapter 2 tells you, first try and think of reputation. You forget about what you should do or not to do, let it be guided by first aim is reputation. You try to aim at a good name. A good name. So if you want to be known, I mean, if you are a liar, imagine somebody is a liar and everybody, whenever they talk, they say, no, no, he's a liar. Don't listen to him. No, that's a very unnerving thing. It's an unnerving thing. Or suppose somebody says that he's a fighter cock or is a whatever. So we don't want to be named like that, do we? We want to be named as he is a dedicated person, here is a kind person, here is a loving girl or whatever. So let there be something very nicely said about you. So reputation is very important, and that is how you should try to overcome a dilemma. Basically, a dilemma is a garb. It is not something which, because the consciousness within each one of us tells what is right from wrong. If the results, physical results, as I said, are weaknesses, it means your selection has got wrong. Otherwise, it should not be so. Why should you be physically weak suddenly? Suddenly you lose your bows and arrows. I mean, you just let them down. Now the reason is you have really thought wrong. So therefore, it is showing a result, which is a negative result on the body. So how to overcome a dilemma? So basically know that dilemma is actually just a garb. So throwing away a garb is not so difficult. However, some of us love to live with such dilemmas and pretend that we don't know. So if we make mistakes, you should excuse. But you can't be excused. You have to be answerable to yourself. And final result of happiness and sorrow is bound to come. So you cannot afford to say, I can stay under a dilemma and pretend I don't know what is right from wrong and continue to be wrong. No, you can't do that. So you have to overcome your dilemma. So the one nice way of overcoming the dilemma is to learn to live for a good reputation. So that is very important. So chapter 2 tells you that for you a reputation is important. And the second very good thing in this chapter is told is never let anger take the upper hand in you. Anger indicates less intellect. In USA, I had a very sweet little friend, just a 10-year-old person. And he had got angry and kicked his sister. He had kicked his sister. So the mother wanted me as a Swamiji to tell the boy that this was wrong. So I saw that boy had tremendous affection for me. So I did not want to disturb that affection. So I didn't want to tell him that he was wrong. So I just said, of course, I said his brain, he's an intelligent person. So a person who's brainy, he doesn't have to get angry because that's a good side of intellect, that you don't have to get angry. You can make your point clear without getting angry. So the moment I said that, the boy had mellowed down. The idea is that anger is what you should not let it take the upper hand in you. If anger takes the upper hand, the result in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 is very beautiful. It tells you your discriminating power vanishes. When you are angry, you don't know. It's just like a dilemma, you can't think. Anger won't let you think. Dilemma may be just a simple garb you must have wanted to voluntarily take over. But anger is not a voluntary thing. When it comes, it takes away all your strength of thinking. And once your discriminating power goes, that is what a man is made of, intellect. If the intellect does not function, then obviously you are of no use to yourself. Now friends, this is a simple key message of chapter 2. Yes, there are words like Atma, there are words like heaven and all. But as I said, we will go pick up something which is of use to us. Um, like whenever you go even for rations and all, because situations differ. We are not on the same plane as Arjun is on a battlefield. We are at home, we are in the comforts of the house. So therefore our situations are not that worry. So we can think of it a little uh, pleasantly and pick up things which are required. So, as I said, we are all going to work towards good reputation. And to overcome a dilemma, we are going to think of what our reputation, what is the reputation you would like to have. And second, let anger not rule you. You have to be able to control your anger. Now, these are two beautiful messages. Then in chapter 2, of course, there is a philosophy of rebirth is there. There is a philosophy of soul, spirit, which is immortal. And, and there is a positive side to having a sound intellect. Now, of these, right now we won't worry about Atma. My father is a great historian. He is known to the public, Setu Madhavrao. And he used to always ask me, he used to say, Krishna, uh, why did Krishna bring up the topic of Atma when Arjun wanted to know that should I fight or not? What had that got to do with Atma? And he used to laugh. He was a most enlightened person. And I used to wonder then. But now I realize it. He doesn't mean by Atma. Krishna doesn't speak of God here or soul which is considered to be godly. But he speaks of the concept of immortality. So, if at all between name and form, what is more immortal is a name. Form is mortal, perishable. So therefore we need to, probably in trying to tell that, he has brought in a topic which speaks of immortality and which reminds you of immortality. But what Krishna wants to tell Arjun is work towards maintaining your reputation and work without getting angry. So friends, it's a good message. We'll try and maintain one day of no anger. And let me know how many can be successful. Don't get angry just for one day. Let's try it. There's no harm in trying it. This is Swami Radhikanand from Pune. We'll come to chapter 3 tomorrow. Thank you so much.